Alrighty, give me just a moment. Let's make sure we're working here. Hey guys, welcome back to Bob Talks Tech. Let me just verify that I'm getting a picture. Here we go. I see it. All right. Still working out some things with OBS. It's great software, and I'm very privileged and happy to be able to use it. It's a free open source video streaming assistant program. It's really nice. Guys, I know it's been a few days. It's been maybe a week or two, and I'm really excited to come back to you and bring you some new things here. First and foremost, you guys, the new members, thank you so much. I'd like to mention Tommy Savalas Telly, good play on that back in the day, and Evil Eternity, a couple of new members that I've got notifications on. Thank you so much for joining and subscribing to the channel. And when you get a chance to watch a video, feel free to put in some comments and let me know what you think and make suggestions and recommendations. I got a couple of more contacts from Oshak Hennessy and Jasmine Deckers. Thank you so much for your comments and your feedback on my videos. I appreciate that. And more exciting news, I have another friend at work that is interested in building a editing machine, and he has contracted me to help him in building that machine. And so we'll be doing some information videos and whatnot on the machines that is a great starting equipment for editing. So what are we doing here today? Let's talk about our original $25 bundle from the first video about 13 videos ago that many of you saw, and we were talking about how we could save money on a budget build. Well, marketplace, obviously, buying used parts. We talked about how to buy those things safely and what to look for, and it was exciting to come up with a few things. But if you're building your own computer on a budget, you can start off with some basic things, and the very best thing you can do for your system is upgrade. And when you start off with parts that are readily available, they're not all perfect. Some of them are a little bit older, but to initially get a basic machine up, I mean, it can be done for $100. I've got a video coming up soon that's going to show you an experience I'm going to create from very cheap parts from one of the online retailers over the seas. And I'll get more into that, but that's just a little snippet that I've been inspired to do by a couple of followers here that have been super helpful. We've had some great conversations in the Discord. If you look below, I've got a link to my Discord. Everyone is welcome. It's strictly PC and common interest related. There's room to post your pictures of your builds and things you've done. Please let us have a look at those. And there's quite a few of our builds, and the gentlemen that are on here and ladies that have built computers for themselves, and they are beautiful, absolutely gorgeous computers, way out of the budget for what we're talking about. And they're posted there for everybody to see and to share, comment on, and we're open discussion for questions and answers too. There's a couple guys on here way better at building computers than I am. I don't have the kind of practice or experience that they do. I know what I do and what I'm capable of, and I'm very proud to be able to do that. But it's nice to have a community of people working together to help you, and feel free to ask questions and get responses. So I don't know. Let's talk about why we're here today. We're making one more upgrade to our cheap computer. Now, obviously, we talked about it in a couple videos. Mind me here for just a moment. That the parts that we used started off very, very cheap. We had a bad motherboard in the first set of parts that we bought. That's to be accepted. We modified and overcame that by adding a new motherboard that we got for a relatively cheap price. Turned out to be a really good motherboard for probably 60% of what it would cost retail, so we're still in the budget. We have increased our initial expenditures up to probably about $350. But I did a price comparison on the prices of the things that we've been able to acquire at a reasonable price off of Marketplace and everything that works that we have. We're pushing $800 on a value of this computer brand new. I know that sounds like a lot, but if you get an $800 computer for $350, why wouldn't you have a little more in your budget to keep adding or add to it later to get it wherever you need it to be? You want a premier, absolute wreck of a gaming machine? Add a little bit of more money to it, add little parts. So that is a process that is very helpful in building a computer. You don't have to start off with a brand new unit. You don't have to go to the store and buy a unit that is $1,000, and it's very capable and very qualified to do the job of everything you could want it for. And today's focus, there's a lot of gaming, respected gaming um, wishes for people who are buying computers these days. That's okay. Um, this computer that I have built is capable of gaming, albeit with a few more modifications. It could be an absolute elite gaming system, but at the moment, it's an average gaming system with somewhat limitations. But one limitation I cannot tolerate as a computer user myself and a gamer is super loud fans. Come with me. Let's go. Let me show you here what we're talking about. I'm going to bring this over here, and I don't know. I don't know if you can hear how loud these fans are. But even with the glass, okay, that's enough. I'm not going to put you through that. I've been listening to that for hours. Let me get reset here. All right. I'm just going to kill it. That is so much better. Hear the quality of sound. My computer's running behind me and you can't hear it, and it sounds great. But what do you do in the case of one thing that, okay, sorry, thank you. Let me turn that off. We don't need to see that yet. I'll bring it over here and we'll look at it here in a minute. You just find a good value on what you need to make improvements to your computer as you go. Now, if this was my only system that I had available to me and I was going to use it for gaming, I would tolerate the fans, or I would put the computer as far away from me as I could get it, and I would put a loud headset on. All the explosions and gunfire and laser beams would go in my ear, and I could live with it. I really could, especially for the minimal amount that we've had to spend out to get to where we are now. And so it's really what you can tolerate. I've taken a couple liberties with this computer, and I've done some cable management. We're going to mess all that up today. Also, there's a couple of other things that I've realized that these fans, they're just old. I believe they're just regular motorized fans, which today's standard, I believe, is ball bearing hydraulic, and those are super quiet. They make some fans that are a lot more quiet than others. But also, I haven't been able to find the way to control these fans with the system. Even though they're all plugged directly into the motherboard, I have fan control software. I just simply can't tune these fans at a different speed. I believe they're set at one speed total, which is not normal, but we're not sure how old these fans were. We knew we got the whole set of parts that we got originally for $25. These fans were part of that case, and I took them out of that case. They're beautiful. They're blue. They're static blue, but they just don't quite cut the grade as far as what we consider quality. So I did the right thing and looked for an opportunity, and I would have been back sooner with this, but the opportunity only became available that I found. Let's see if we can do this. I found a young computer builder. Maybe this is that had 3 of these Fantech 140 millimeter fans, brand new in the box. They were surplus for what he had to build with, and he offered them for sale on Marketplace. And these are very expensive fans. They're very nice. They are not necessarily RGB, but they are blue highlighted on white fan blades. But guys, I got 3 of these for $35, and that is a huge contribution to our cheap build. So even in that, I'll spend $35 on 3 fans any day of the week. It just makes sense. So I got 3 of those, and they are 140 millimeter, which is the largest size that this. If you remember, we got this Fantech case. We talked to Fantech about replacing a part we didn't have, and this Fantech case has the ability to hold 120 millimeter or 140 millimeters. Let's see. Take a look at that. I'm going to use this floating camera a little bit. This is new for me, but it's something different. I want to be able to give you guys multiple perspectives. So here's the front panel, and on this particular case, it just pops right off. Hope that wasn't too violent. Pardon me. Okay, so here we have the 3 older fans, 120 millimeter, and we have an extra rail out here on the side. And so this 140 millimeters will fit just fine. So that's pretty cool about those. So we're gonna swap those out here in just a minute. I do want to show you one more little bonus thing here. Here's another little acquisition, and here's another aspect. I don't know if we spoke about this before in things that you can buy for your computer. I forget that I'm showing you thing in me too. Let me look at you. This is 2 4 gigabyte sticks of RAM that is DDR4, which is the most common RAM right now for most systems. There's a newer style of RAM that's DDR5, but those systems are super expensive, and they're the next generation of builds that are available. But you know, why buy those right now when we can still get great value and deals on the last generation? It's still fully capable. The very minimum I recommend for RAM is 16 gigabytes, but this is 8 gigabytes, 2 sticks of 4, and that's half. Fortunately, almost all the motherboards that you can buy in the DDR4 style have 4 slots. They're dual channel ×2, which will hold 4 sticks of these. So the best part about this is the DDR4 is getting super, super cheap, but not this cheap. How much do you think I paid for these? Now that somebody out there knows. And I'm sorry I don't see my comments. Oh, Lazy Fish Keeper, hi, welcome to the show. Howdy ho. I did a little contest on my Discord the other day when I was driving home with these, and everybody contributed to say, hey, 1,000 bonus points that don't really mean anything to whoever can figure out the best price on there. My first guess was free. That's a great price. I love free, and sometimes you come across things that are free, but unfortunately, no. If it were a showcase showdown, that would have been the price that won. It was closest. Everybody else was over. I had 25 and 15 and 5. Guys, $5 was the winner on this set of RAM because I had the opportunity to find this for, does it focus? $2.99. Goodwill. That's the goodest thing I've got out of Goodwill in a long time. Although, as we spoke about that earlier, I did get that other monitor that I showed off the other video, the 1080p, which is a great starting monitor, for $12, $13 with tax, I think. So there are opportunities out there to find really cheap stuff. You just got to get out there and look. So in addition to those fans, the Fantech ones, I did take advantage of this. How do you want to see it? Want to see it here? 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 I don't have Vanna White with me tonight, so I'm going to have to let you figure this out. Let me get the glare out of there. I'm working on film work. So, guys, this, the 212 Halo Black Hyper RGB multicolor CPU cooler fan and radiator system. This is brand new. It was about $5 discount at Best Buy, and I got it for $30. And if you remember, when we worked with John's computer just a couple of weeks ago, he had purchased this as well. He got amazing results from a stock cooler from his system to going to one of this. Is so much better at cooling and the fan flow and the airflow, that it brought his temperatures that he was concerned about on his CPU way down. And so he was very happy with this. He can do some amazing color combinations between the fans that he has and this. They all work together. He's got software to control it. But this one really did a great job in his computer. We're going to put this in tonight as well. So I'm not going to drag this out too long. We're going to try to do the hardware work and see if we can't get it fired back up to take a look at it. I'll do some cable management after the video. But all in all, there's there's 4 fans in here. The big ones here will only fit on the bottom, or they'll fit up on the top. But I want to put all 3 in the front here. I think that's where they'll be the most beneficial. I have one more of these old kind of plastic fans that's actually back here in the back. And I have a fan here somewhere that is a little bit newer, but much quieter fan that doesn't have any color. I'm going to go ahead and install there. I can always come back later and add that. Okay, so I'm seeing there that I'm hanging over. I don't want to hide. Hi, okay. So, yeah, let's do that. And let's see, did I cover everything? Pretty sure. I had some great experiences with some people I met on Marketplace buying a couple things. I got a couple other projects and products that I've got. We'll save those for later. Something new and exciting coming soon. But pardon me just a moment. Let me make a workspace here. And let's go to workbench. Ta-da! All right. Move this guy out here. I'm going to use that here in a moment. We're going to disconnect the power here. I'll lay our system down here. And guys, you've seen me do this before. This is no big mystery. I'm going to try to do this as efficiently and quickly as possible. Part of the joy and love of having computers is being able to do the work on your own. I don't expect that watching me work on a computer is all that exciting, but if I come up with anything that makes sense to me while we're doing this, I'll mention it. But I'm going to go ahead and start by removing these front fans. And I got some new light here. I want to kind of make that as accommodating as possible. I am taking applications for a free cameraman. Yes, I did say free. Okay, I like that. Okay. Basically, that's come over and play with me while we're doing live stream videos and help me hold cameras. But we'll talk about that in the Discord. All right, I'm just going to pull these out. And it's a good practice, guys, if you're working on your computer, always make sure your power is disconnected. It used to be back in the day, there was a lot more sensitive components on computers, as it were, and there were static issues. That still can be a thing, but just be careful about getting electrical equipment such as drills like these and around your circuit board, your motherboard. It's always probably best to use a basic handheld screwdriver or an anti-static wristband that grounds you to the thing here. But for the most part, I'm just going to be super careful. And we're only dealing with these fans for the most part. Go ahead and knock these out real quick. Oh, never find that one again. I'm really excited that there's some posts on the Discord that show some of these computers, and I'm really jealous. These guys have put lots of attention to detail and have worked really hard on doing what they do. John's computer's got some amazing flexibility as far as lighting, and his whole setup is very impressive. And another member has he builds computers on contract for people. He's been doing that for quite some time. He's super smart about that. He's got examples of some of the computers he's built. Very impressive. So one step I'm going to take here, all I've done is disconnect the fans, but I know that they are plugged into different places. I remember for the most part, but because the wires on these are clear, I'm just going to move these aside for the moment. Take a little slack there, and I'm going to go ahead and install the new fans, because if I lose track of where these are plugged in, I can follow the cords that are on this fan still plugged in with the new ones, and I can trace that path for the new fans. So here is what we got for one of the new fans. All right. And these, just seeing if this has, most of the time these have directional. Okay, here's an arrow. I don't know if you can, let's see where we're at here. There's an arrow that shows the fan flow right here, and that's just a handy little thing. Also shows rotation as well, but because these are going to be in the front, we want to put them with the fan flow that goes into the case. And because I have opening sides on the top and the sides here from where you can see it, I'm going to put the wires going down, and so that they can be on the resting side of the plate of the back of the thing. You can put them on top, But I wouldn't recommend putting them like this because you have another fan right here and you don't want to pinch that off. You want to, even though there's a little channel for it, you also want to keep it neat. So if it's pointed towards the back, we can manage that cable there behind. Now on these fans, go ahead and take this apart. Uh-oh, I didn't do it. Here we've got a switch. Looks like a two-way toggle switch, which also has a plug. And then we've got the 3-pin controller. And I believe that these fans can be daisy chained together, one to another. And I think that's why this is either extension cord, which is really neat because not all fans will fit where you need to go. So this is definitely an extension cord. And no, I think these will just go straight to the board like the other ones. But that's a different switch that you can plug, turn them manually on and off together. I honestly didn't really look these fans up. I just knew that they were really what goes with this case. So I was excited and I got them, and here they are. We'll figure out the cables later. Basically, I'm just going to slide that in there like that. And these new fans come with their own little black screws. I'm pretty excited about that. We'll save the old screws because you never know. And I'm just going to open that the old-fashioned way. Go ahead and set one. You don't want to get one tight. You want to go ahead and make sure you've got plenty of room. Guys, quit hogging the light. I can't see on this side. I'm in the shadows. In the shadows. Oh, that was a little violent. Looks like my software had a momentary lapse. So we got a preview monitor over here. Oh no, it looks like we're still transmitting. Yep, looks good. If it blanks out on me, somebody call me or send me a message. I got a little preview monitor here. Let me see what we got. My Goodwill is called DI, and they never have computer parts that are good. Only like 20-plus-year-old systems and all trashed. Yeah, true. They never have. Why is there hard in the way? Have just small parts. Yeah, I'm very lucky to find anything in the Goodwill. It's just once in a while, you know. And like it was a fluke that I found this RAM. It was in the display case as I walked in, but man, they have very, very little electronics, and I was surprised to find anything at all. And I was excited about this RAM because it was so neat that they even had it, and they didn't know what they had. The sticker says plastic, which is definitely not plastic. I meant to talk to them. I was going to say, hey, you know, this is aluminum, right? But I didn't want to press my luck. They probably wouldn't have sold them to me. All right. So for the new guys out here, I'm going to set these screws just barely because I still want to be able to move the fans around a little bit. I don't want to overdo it because I want to line them up just right with the openings in the front. It's an OCD thing, I know, but I want it to look as nice as possible. All right, so I can still get a little, that could be flush there. There's one. Oh, one other thing I didn't mention, these Fantech fans are also static blue. Thank you for that. Oh, he's doing the same thing right now. Well, you know, I knew that, but I kind of had this plan based on when I could get these fans. Dead Horse was saying that he is doing a fan swap on his wife's computer tonight as well. So it seems like a good night to be doing that. But never a bad night. Is there a bad night? I don't think so. So we're kind of working together on the two different projects doing the same thing, which is, hey, that if I inspire anybody to do anything at all, especially people who've never done this kind of thing before, try it. And if you mess it up, I'll come over and help you fix it. I mean, I don't know where you live. I'm just saying it might be a web stream or a two-way video conferencing, but if you get in trouble and need some help, we're here for you. I'll be happy to help any way I can. Just fighting with bread ties right now. Okay, here's another one. I'm going to go ahead and rest that in there like so. I may be giving myself a little bit of a conundrum here because I've still got that in there. I am going to regret that later because this particular case has sliding panels and I've got it so tied up to be firm that that's not going to work. All right, well, that's fine. I will come back and fix it later. I'm not going to put you through the and all the best process pretty much I would say is pulling out your old fans and then just slowly and peacefully putting the new ones back in. For the sake of being on stream and not keeping you guys up very late, I'm just going to throw these in for the example of it. And I believe I can get them plugged in and we can take a look. So that is, I believe, there's that. Okay. I was really excited to get back on to a stream. I know it's been a minute and I miss you guys because even though I'm just doing this for fun, it's really neat to get feedback. Oh, okay. So here's a common mistake, and be considerate of this. Let me show you, since I have the ability. You know, I said, Robert, well, I can't get the fan to line up. Well, that's true. Nope. Workbench view. All right, so apparently I've lost the camera. I don't know. Okay, well, either way, maybe we can do it this way. Technical difficulties, please stand by. Technical difficulties, please stand by. I made a classic mistake. All right. Oh, there it is. Now we don't need that one anymore. Okay, so as I was installing the second fan here, I missed the slot. I went down here to the 120 millimeter rail and started to put it in here. So then it needs to go up to the top. I think I'll keep it on that angle for just a moment. And so that made the fan kind of slightly at an angle, and only those two holes will match up together. So I'm going to move this up to the next rail, and now you'll see that it's perfectly flush and even, and I still have the ability to move them back and forth somewhat so I can adjust them. I want to try to fill up that space as best as possible. I'm going to go ahead and get all four screws started. Dead Horse, I know that you're an accomplished computer builder. You should probably do a live stream. Let's get you on the camera. Let's let people see what you can do, because I know you've been doing this a lot longer than I have. Or I assume that. I'm not making any assumptions overall, but I've seen some of the stuff you build. I know you're very good at this. All right. Here's one more fan. We're going to focus this. Oh, I dropped the extension cord. I'm going to focus these cords towards the inside. Lay that down. This one's ever so slightly a little bit more tricky. And guess what? You watch me? Watch me? I did it. I did it backwards. It's okay. I'll fix it. Guys, there's nothing wrong with doing this wrong the first time and doing it again. It's just practice, and it'll make everything easier once you've done this a few times, like riding a bike. You fall down, you put a Band-Aid on, and you get right back at it. All right. Sorry, I know it's not a singing channel. All right. Oops. I missed it altogether that time. Let's try one more time. Do, do, do. And now an intermission from Lawrence Welk. No intermissions from Lawrence Welk. Guys, if you know who Lawrence Welk is, please don't comment. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Oh, I guess if I line it up. Ta-da! I was born before computers, and before computers there was Lawrence Welk. No, that's not true. Okay, now that they're relatively in the right place, I'm going to check up here, make sure there's no gaps, because you'll be able to see this from the outside through the grill. And so I'm going to make sure that that's flush and lined up. I think that perfectly lines up with the top of that. That gave me the ability to move them all down a little bit. Lining up the top and making sure they're flush together, because these fans are actually made for this case. Although, don't hesitate to use fans that aren't made for the case, because they are all mostly compatible as long as your system has the ability to install 120 and 100 millimeter fans. Those are the most common sizes. So having that these fans are the same brand as the case, then they fit rather nicely symmetrically, and I'm pretty happy with it. So bear with me just a moment here. I'm going to go ahead and snug these up. And here's one more little bit of advice. The screws that hold the fans in are a coarse thread, and they are screwed into the fans in an unthreaded chamber that is mostly rubber. Okay, so if you're building a computer for the first time, stay away from the drill. Just use a screwdriver. It's always good to ground your screwdriver out to, oh, I don't want to scratch it. Ground your screwdriver out to a ground place if that's a thing. But using a screwdriver gives you a little bit more of a feel for how tight these screws are. And they only have to be snug, because they screw into a rubber chamber that also absorbs vibrations and shocks to help them be quieter. So I'm just going to put a twist on these until they snug up, and then without using a power drill, I know that I'm not overdoing it. So it just, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm not saying there's not a right or wrong way to do it, but if you're building a computer for the first time or two, I recommend just using a screwdriver, because you can kind of feel what you're doing and you won't over tighten these screws. You don't want to damage them, because you may want to change them at some point again, and there's absolutely nothing wrong. Obviously, we've made multiple changes to this system. So, all right, see a bunch of comments in there. I'm sorry, I can't see my preview monitor from here. Give me just a second, I'll look at those again. Oh, take your time. Sometimes I get in a hurry. That's snug. That's snug. Boop, boop. Hi, Discord. All right. That's snug. I forgot to put my chat in my OBS. One more, guys, after this one. And that is sound effects at no extra charge, brought to you by Bob's Tech Talk. Those are all nice and snug. All right, questions and answers. We have a question and answer. So here's a perfect good use for the Discord, guys. There's a member here looking for 3 graphics card boxes, just the box. He's got a list of those. I won't go through those right now. Boxes are very popular. If you have some empty boxes from some graphics cards, eBay is a great resource to sell those. Here is the comment for a request for some of the boxes as well. He's looking for those. Let me go through these comments real quick. We talked about Goodwill. Dead Horse says, I built my first PC about 4 or 5 years ago, and before that I pretty much just used laptops or pre-built, which is very common, or pre-built desktops, but I did work on my own stuff, replacing screens or HDDs and laptops and etc. That's how you get your experiences. December of 2019 was when he built his first PC, and I still have, I don't know why I can't see that, there's a little, have 3700X and a RX 5600 XT system. Very nice. Very nice. I wish I still had the original computer I had. So, have I worked myself into a situation here? Perhaps. All right. Perhaps not. So bear with me. Remember these guys? Favorite tool ever. Let me get to top down here. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this one. I believe that's the top fan. Now guys, one thing I do know is up here at the top of the motherboard where the CPU fan goes in, that's a fan controller, and the one just below it, I believe, is an AIO controller. Let's see, maybe I can use this. Yeah, floating cam. So I just pulled this out of this lower connector. Does it say? Now, AIO controller is for a water system, water cooling system. It's more for a motor. And these are labeled. Okay, no, so this one says CPU option 1. So that is a controllable fan header. If it says AIO control, that's a full power connector for a pump system. That is not what that is. So that is actually a fan controller. That's good news. And I'm not sure how likely I can get to those, but here are the other ones. Down here on the bottom, you see the two grayish looking colored. Those are the other two bottom fans that are here. So now that I know which ones I've used, I'm going to grab these, pull them straight up and out. Okay, that's that. Let's go here, get back to full screen. And take this back panel off. Here's what. Okay, I'm just double checking because I've got some cable management back there. I just don't want to get any hate. Well, no hate mail necessary for that. Pretty happy with that cable management. Cable management's not for everybody, but it is. Up here, so we get a little bit better view. All right, so here is the top fan, and I believe I had a little trouble getting that. Oh, no trouble at all. That one's going to be free. All right, then I have my two I just connected here. Those are going to be pretty free. All right, just going to thread these out. And it's okay to disassemble all your wires back here if you want. I may have to do that to some of these. I've got a mess here going on. But for the most part, I'm just going to see if I can't thread these out through the little Velcro tips here. If I make a mess, I can always fix it later. I'm not terribly concerned about these fan connectors as either, trying to protect them. I don't plan on using these again. But computer fans have other build options. I mean, there's lots of DIY things online that fans can be used for, like power inverters and camping things that I'm just making up stories right now. So, I mean, if I say it out loud, it's something I've seen somewhere before. All right, cool. So that's that for the most part. And a lot of times, guys, I'll just take builds And I'll just take them all completely apart, start over sometimes, because sometimes that makes a difference. It makes it a lot easier, but all right, there's one. That was pretty harmless. Let's see what we got here on the next one. One aspect of this Fantech case is that these panels in here slide with a tensioner screw on the back, and that makes it very nice to be able to manage cable and then also be able to firm it up a little bit. Just got to find the right angle. Bear with me. Got a couple of traffic jams back here. There's that. All right, one more. That one's going to feed out pretty easy. I said that. Now look at this. We're going to be half an hour getting this last one out. Oh, I got one more bundle here. This is my ASMR version of the video. This is Velcro in its finest. All right, cool. All right. That's that, guys. That is that. I'm going to set those aside. All right, so for the sake of time, I'm not going to remanage these cables right now at the moment. This is the top one. I'm going to go ahead and plug them in. And this is a good process too. If you're building a system, bear with me just a moment here. If you're building a system, it's good to test things as you go for the most part, because if you get the cable management completely done and something's not working properly, well, then you'll have an issue where you have to unmanage the cable and then figure out, troubleshoot your cabling, and then go back and do it again. But in this case, I'm not going to do the cable management anyway right now, but I'm going to go ahead and plug them in and test them anyway. Now, guys, oh, one more thing I can point out is, focus, these are 3-pin connectors. And anytime you see a 3-pin connector on a fan, it's most typically one color or no color at all. If you had a controllable color change, it would have 4 pins, because that extra pin helps you use the software to control the fans for multiple colors. So that's just a control color switch. But on the 3, they still plug into the 4-pin connectors just to the far right side, allowing for the slot to accommodate. Bear with me just a moment. This is sometimes the more difficult part for me. Okay, not a big deal. And somebody out there saying, hey Robert, why don't you use the forceps? Well, that's a good idea, Dead Horse. Thank you very much for reminding me. You know what else I'm not using is my handy dandy little rechargeable LED lights. Special effects at no extra charge. There it is. All right. I will come back and manage that cable here in a little bit. And for these, same thing. Typically, out of the 4 pins that are available on the board, it's the far right 3. And you'll notice from the slot that's on the plug-in, it'll only go into those. And you don't want to force it. So a lot of times, though, with new connectors and plugins, they're kind of firm. There it is. All right, we got one more. Nope, I didn't take the bread tie off. Hey, Robert, take the bread tie off. Taking the bread tie off now. Copy that. Roger, roger. Beep, beep. Ta-da. That was a whistle. I had no mic response whatsoever right there for a second. I was like, what? It's not that quiet in here. Uno mas. Oh, is it going to go right away? Is it going to go? Nope. It's going to get my bearings. Sometimes these are really close and you can go. Nope, I'm not going to do that either. Yep, there it is. All right, and 3 makes 3. Alrighty. Obviously, it's atrocious, all this wire laying around, but that's okay. The initial objective has been completed of those fans. Let's get her up here on the rolling cart. Check for our power supply. All right, give me just a second. I'll move the camera for you. Cameraman job still available. Hi, welcome back. There's me. And floating camera on. Floating camera adjustment. And if everything is ready on the dark side of the moon, let's see what happens when I push the power button. It's a good idea to make sure that you don't have any wires in your fans blades, because they'll just go click, 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 click. Yes, I did practice that sound effect. I'll teach you that sound effect at some point if you really like. But we're just doing a test fire right now for the practical purpose of seeing if our fans are working. And ta-da! If I got some room. We got blue, blue. And guys, why do you think the middle one's not blue? Well, Robert, you showed us in the beginning that these fans have a power switch. Well, they sure do. And I'll bet you a quarter, if this wasn't a switch, was not plugged in, you could leave it unplugged completely and just do away with it, it would stay on. But there we go. Push that power button. That's on. Let's take a look at this thing from the front. So it looks a little different. I've got so much light here, guys, but it looks really good. Those are shooting through the fans. It's going to be an aspect of getting the extra light off. Those fans reflect a lot of the studio lights I'm using right now. But my goal for this one was to get much quieter fans, and having the opportunity to use the original fans for this build was really awesome. So obviously I'm sitting right next to it. I think the one fan that you can hear back here is the one that's still in the system. Let's see. No, that one didn't make a whole lot of noise. But really, realistically, guys, these are so much cool, quieter fans than the ones we used before, and they will also be receptive to the fan control system. I know that they're variable speed, so they will be definitely able to be adjusted per the temperature. The motherboards most often have multiple sensors across the boards to measure the temperature, and so being able to adjust your fans to the minimal but adequate cooling, they can be fairly quiet. You can have a silent mode. It'd be something you'd have to do some research on for your particular motherboard. I'll do a little research on this board, and if I get the opportunity and do some screen sharing, I'll show you the controls that I'm going to be using for these fans. I'm looking here, you're looking there, I'm looking there. We did talk about doing this thing with the CPU cooler. I'm not going to do that right this minute. We've been going for a little while now, almost an hour. I'm trying to take the videos and make them a little bit shorter. And he waves. Hi, waves. Stoned Gamer 88. Welcome to the chat. Let's see, Simi. Hi, Simi. It's good to see you. So let's get rid of this. Go straight back to me. Let's talk about what's next. Guys, this computer, going from a pile of parts of partly working things and partly not, this has become a very adequate machine. Now, if you saw the last video where I put this graphics card, this is a 1060, GeForce GTX 1060. It's not firework gaming compatible. It's adequate for about 1080, which is at 60 hertz. It's kind of borderline. Also, remember that we use Tom's hardware to compare different graphics cards to different each other. This would be a very starting out beginning graphics card, but absolutely no question about it. If we put $200 into a brand new, let's see, 2080 or anything like on the chart, I'd have to go back and I haven't learned all my numbers yet, but even a 1660 or a whole list of graphics card, you can only go up. Like I said, I paid about $70 for this graphics card, and it's much more adequate than the one I took out that was part of our bundle. Even though that graphics card had its own appeal to some people, and that if you're building a retro gaming system, you want to get something that's older, those are great. But when we're looking at what we can build for cheap on a base model and then work our way up, then we're talking about having to spend a little bit more money each time. I encourage you to look for the opportunities for the discounts and the sales. Learn how to deal with people as far as on Facebook and Marketplace. Do that safely. If you're under 18, make sure that you ask a parent or guardian or friend. Always meet in a public place. And unfortunately, with computer parts, you can't necessarily take a PC with you, install those parts, and test them. Make sure that the people you're buying from have good reviews. It helps if they've had ratings from Facebook other members that have purchased from them, and that they have a Facebook profile that has a history that's more than just a couple 3 weeks old or not. And then just use your best judgment. But as far as this, we've done pretty well. All the people that I bought things from this computer online from and saved a tremendous amount of money, I've met them in public. I've had some very great experiences, and I'm very happy with what we've been able to do with this build. The OBS is connecting and disconnecting. And are we back? Are we back? Okay, we're back. So I'm not sure why I'm having service interruptions. I'm sure it's not the internet or electricity because the power's still on. As I mentioned, this Halo 212 Black is a great little cooler. It does quite a bit more efficient than the original stock cooler that came with the CPU, even though that one is it's a good one. I've had lots of luck with the Ryzen regular coolers and the Wraith coolers. If there's no need to spend extra money on one of these accessory CPU fans if you don't need to, that's quite all right. But in the interest of that we've spent the money that we needed to get this computer running adequately, then you put a little extra money in, just like doing maintenance on a car. You put a little more money to add things to it and whatnot. So all that being said, don't overspend. Use what budget you can. Turn that off, and then take your time and do one piece at a time. Um, I don't think there's anything. I believe in this particular unit, I had purchased the CPU at one time, brand new. That's a personal preference for me. I like to buy brand new CPUs. Um, and also depends on the CPU. Well, basically, a CPU is a step of an upgrade. You can get a basically less expensive CPU and start your build, and you can step up with it, and you can spend a lot of money on the CPU at the end at some point. Um, if you're buying CPUs on the used market, the computer processors, it's good to maybe deal with people you know or that you have some rapport with, and that may or may not offer you a refund if it doesn't work, or that they can prove that it works, or that it can be tested. Lots of little details. There is a little bit of risk anytime you buy something used, just like at a garage sale. And computer products it's hard to test on the fly and in real life. So I'm much happier with these new fans. It's obvious when you buy something, it's in the package, it's sealed, it's got tape on it, it's brand new. Do a visual inspection. With Ryzen CPUs, if you do buy one used, look at it real close. Take a magnifying glass. Make sure every one of those 240 something pins are straight, sticking straight up. They're not bent over. They're not crooked. It should look like a perfect little cornfield with absolutely nothing out of the way. And then you use your best judgment. And when there is a risk implied, a lot of time people will work with you as far as budgeting or negotiating a price. Almost everybody that I've interacted with online has had an offer of a price. I've offered them a little bit less for the sake of trying to save $1 here and there. Try not to lowball. I mean, I'm not going to offer somebody 25% of what they're asking for. If I think 75% is a good price, I'll throw that out there. All they can do is say no. But take responsibility when you're dealing with people online. If you're responsive to the inquiries that you make of them, and they are responsive quickly to your inquiries, that builds a relationship between the two of you that is a foot in the right direction as far as trusting that what they have for sale is new. Facebook Marketplace makes it available for you to be able to look at that individual's profile on Facebook. A lot of times that's a public thing. If they've got a bunch of pictures and they've got some family and interaction and some timeline on Facebook, I trust those a little bit more than others. And then above all, use your best judgment. So we've got a brand new system here that is optimally performing great. I did spend a couple hours the other day playing Fortnite on this system. I was a little spoiled in the fact that it's not quite as fast as the computer that I built for myself, but it's a great start. I would not hesitate to even sell this computer to someone that has a young person that's interested in starting gaming, but is not necessarily looking for absolute 4K blowout graphics and speed and production. They're going to compete. It's not what we built here, but there is upgradable qualities of this computer. If we had a better graphics card, if we added some more RAM, we could water cool the CPU, which I prefer air cooled, and even using one of these bigger additional aftermarket CPU fans. I think that's a huge increase to your safety of that. Using the right software to monitor your temperatures and make sure you keep your computer up off the floor. Lots of little things like that. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but if you take care of it and once in a while you clean it up and keep the dust out of it and do proper maintenance, just like taking care of your car, it will take care of you. As I mentioned, if we double the RAM in this, which we have 2 open slots, it's completely available, a little bit better graphics card, and 1 or 2 of the cooling issues, or like this cooler, this thing would play everything at maximum settings at high resolution, especially with one of the more expensive newer cards, which this board, when we bought this board, it was with the intention of knowing that it's upgradable that way, that it'll hold and be compatible with newer and better graphics cards. The CPU may or may not be adequate. There's things such as called bottlenecking, where your graphics card can overrun your CPU because your graphics card has its own processor but can do more work than the CPU can, and sometimes your CPU will stutter. So In this particular rig, if we were to increase the CPU to a little bit better CPU, which are always more expensive, but you take your turns in steps and you go slowly, and a better graphics card. But as it stands, this is a 1080, 60 frames per second, really decent looking game. I'll do some video and show you some of the gaming that I can do on it, just as an example. I'm not a benchmark guy. I mean, I can run a GPU benchmark and give you those numbers, but it takes a lot of research and knowing what those will do for you. And you can compare those to other systems and rigs. I do like NovaBench in the sense that it gives a score to individual components, and it can compare those components to other components around about or similar systems like the build that you have. And it's like, oh, okay, I've got a score of 500 on the CPU. If I had a CPU that would perform at 600 points on the NovaBench scale, then you know that that would be a little bit better. And it's a stair-step process. You just commonly go up. So anything we do next to this computer, I'll be sure to make a little video of that. This video went a little longer than expected, but guys, thank you so much for being here. Waves, it's Dust. Dust is a computer killer. And yep, there's more to come. I'm waiting for something in the mail. It's very exciting. I don't know if I've touched base on it. There's a huge discussion in the Discord about what one of my next projects coming up is. This was a huge step on this computer. This is the original computer we made in the first video. I'm really excited about that. It's a good chance I'll completely build it up as we're talking about it, add a couple more parts, and then it'll be 100%, and I'll be happy with it. I'm happy with it now. It's perfectly capable of doing what we wanted to do. But the new projects we have coming up, I hope you're excited about those. I don't know if you can see over here, I've got various pieces of gear here, and you'll notice everything back here. I've got another CPU cooler with a fan unit. I've got a graphics card over here. I've got some RAM. I've got a M.2. Everything back here, I was able to find a good deal on. And with the exception of the M.2, those are super, super popular right now. I paid full price for that at Best Buy in anticipation of needing to get for a build because I couldn't make a build without the storage. So I did pay for that, but everything else I got a huge discount on. It's been one way or another a huge contribution to saving the money on building systems. So I'm very excited about that. I've made some trades. I've done some things too. I've also got some parts that have been contributed. So thank you for those as well. The feedback that I'm getting in the Discord from you guys of building computers and even anybody that comes and asks questions, I'm so excited about that. Please join the Discord. Link is in the bottom. Hit a like on this video. I know the likes are important, and the more likes I get, the more YouTube sees it, and then I can share what I love and my passion with all of you and even more. And for those of you that keep coming back, not sure why, but gosh, I thank you so much. I'm very excited about the relationship that I'm building with a few of you guys of being able to visit and learn new things and share ideas and experiences. It's a community. It's a community of like-minded people that enjoy the same kind of thing. I did name my channel Bob Talks Tech. If there's something you want to know about, I'll go find out. If I don't know it, I'll learn it and I'll share it with you. Always open for questions. I know that everybody that's in the Discord would be happy to give you feedback. If you have an open question that anybody can help with, if I can't find the answer, I'll go find it. But that being said, gosh, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and especially fun to save money when you're trying to build something that retailers and big box stores want thousands of dollars for. Like I said, this build that I have is probably at an $800 value right now. We've probably got a lot closer to half that in it right now. And having an $800 rig for $400 is a win-win all the way around. And even if I were to consider selling this, and I may do that at some point, the sale of it would be a huge discount to anybody new, but it would also be fully documented. I'd be completely honest where everything came from. We could do the test and they would be fully satisfied before I let it go. And since you know Bob, it'd be tech support for lifetime, or at least my lifetime. So guys, thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends, share the link, come back and watch the video. I know that live comments in here are always welcome, but if you have things that I will always see the comments that are added to the videos after they are posted to YouTube, and that they retain those questions for public. And if you have good things to say or good ideas or even to want to share things about you, the comments in those are public. Other people can see those and see where you're at as well. I will get those informations and get back and do presentations and answer those questions. Q&A is awesome. Even in the Discord, there's a Q&A answer section. You can put your questions in there. Um, it's going to be a way to work it out to where we're all sharing our passion for computers. All right, guys, I'm going to turn this off now. I'm going to shut it down, go play some more Fortnite, and maybe find me some milk and cookies and think about what's next for this build. I do have several other things that I have got in plans for this channel. I'm still looking at Marketplace almost every day to trying to find a good deal. I'm not in any hurry. I'm just trying to find a good value, and it's a lot of fun, and it should be for you too. Don't be intimidated if you're a first time builder trying to learn something. In fact, let me share just a quick story with you. I bought that cooler right there, which is a very similar form to this one. It's a Hyper 212, but it's no, I apologize. Look at this. Dong, dong, dong. That one over there is a blacked out Hyper 212 CPU cooler and fan system that has no lights on it whatsoever. I purchased it from a woman who was selling it for her daughter. No names. But super, super nice lady. And she told me her daughter a couple of years ago, and very discreetly here, she bought her daughter an Alienware computer from Dell. Her daughter she's about 18 years old, from what I understand. And her mother bought that computer for a couple of years ago, and her mom came to her not too long ago and said, Mom, I want to buy my own parts and build my own computer. Obviously, she had seen a video similar to mine, and by all the extremely talented guys that are able to do this and share it with online. I'm not going to name names. That's like name dropping. I don't care. You know where to find them. Computer builds on YouTube. Go look at everybody. Everybody's got some good material. But her daughter built her own computer. Well, she built it up and it didn't work. She had a problem with it. But you know what? In her community, she had a friend that knew a little bit more about that, and they were able to get together, take that pre-build that was, or the build that they built from custom parts, and troubleshoot until they figured out what was wrong with it, and it worked. So the daughter had some extra parts left over, asked her mom to sell those for on Facebook. I was a fortunate recipient of one of those pieces of gear that she didn't need, and a lot of the things that I buy are things that people have gotten a lot of extra parts for to build and just didn't have a need for them and didn't use them. I'll take those every chance I get, but super, super nice lady. So proud of her daughter for having done something on her own to try to build a system and to make it work, and it worked. And going forward in the future, it's really awesome that young people are getting together and building something with their hands. Used to, when I was a kid, it was Legos or Lincoln Logs. And if you know what Lincoln Logs are, you know how old I am, I'm sorry. But if you don't bother Googling it. Go out, chop a tree down, make your own, because they don't make them anymore as far as I know. So thank you so much, guys. I'm enjoying everything that I have done in the last month and a half or so with computers, this stream, you people, some of the people that I know. I'm so excited to see you here. And there's an interested party there. Maybe wants a computer. Well, we can talk. I mean, you know where it came from. But absolutely, Fortnite, have room. I left a squad of 4, so they're full. I might have some room. Anyway, guys, I won't hold you up. That's a personal conversation. I'll get with her later. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to stop. I could talk all night. I don't want to do that. That's boring. We did a cool thing today. I'm excited. I'm happy that it worked the first time and I didn't have to explain it online. And so, guys, follow it back. I'm going to get another video out a lot sooner than this one. I've had a little bit of things going on. I've been doing a lot of marketplace shopping. I had to go to the post office today, which is I really enjoyed being able to do that thing that I did. And if you know what I was doing at the post office, you know who you are. Thank you so much. I appreciate your following and your contributions to the Discord and to this channel. Absolutely 100%. Guys, have a wonderful night. Get in some gaming. Did I mention this is an awesome machine for spreadsheets? I mean, this thing would run circles around spreadsheets. I mean, lines from here to there on a spreadsheet. This thing, it's way over what you would need for a spreadsheet. Yeah, office machine. I mean, it's the best office machine you ever seen, and maybe not the best gaming system, but it will be. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Have a great night. Thanks for being here. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Share the link. Whatever you can do. Let's build this together. It's our community. It's not mine. I'm sharing what I love with you, and I love you guys for being a part of it. Thank you so much, and good night.